Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1536. Today we have Henning Morales' book, The Dirt Merchants, Highwayman Edition, a novel. It is a coming of age adventure, a triumph, a true story. And here, he wrote me an autograph. Yay! Yay, 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 yay. I am so glad that he wrote this. This is this is to my dear friend Yin Yang. I would be honored to have you read this book on your show. Enjoy. H. Henning. That's great. I am gonna read this book on my show. My show is Morsels of a Thought. Morsels of a Thought of Wisdom have to do with knowing the right thing to do, which is called wisdom. And then doing the right thing is called virtue. So knowing the right things to do is called wisdom, and doing them is called virtue. So let's bring more virtue into the world. And when you learn about what other people do or think, you actually know more about what you're going to do or what you can do. That brings more virtue into this place. Now, I've been having a lot of interesting thoughts come to me of people that used to be with us. And I keep having these thoughts of one person, and I don't know what it is because it doesn't seem like they're in my life right now. But sometimes you get that, you get that. Anyway, copyright 2017, Henning Morales, all rights reserved, ISBN 13 9780990975137. Published in the United States of America by Bed of Angels Incorporated, Beverly Hills, California 90210. Printed and bound in the United States of America by Ingram Spark, division of Ingram Industries, Inc. DirtMitchensBook.com. Note to reader that the fact that you are reading this page is a dream come true for me. Why is that? Because you have afforded me the privilege of reaching out and possibly affecting your life in a positive way. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to make a positive impact on your world and through you potentially affect thousands or even millions of others from the ripple effect that may create. That juices me. That's exactly what this show is about. The positive psychology concepts I learned as a confused kid so altered my frame of mind and thus my life that in a very short period of time I morphed into an entirely different person. In turn, I created a vastly different life for myself, one full of happiness and abundance. I have always believed that these ideas, communicated properly in writing and on film, could potentially have the same effect on others. I have made it my life purpose to counterbalance the negative and disempowering images that bombard our daily lives with positive messages of encouragement, empowerment, hope, and happiness. As you can see, I'm ecstatic. All the events in this novel happened during a short stint of my life. All the conversations actually occurred in context, if not verbatim, and all the people are real, although I did move things around a bit to create a better narrative. As I wrote and rewrote this story and dialogue, I realized that this process has given me a much more solid understanding of my childhood feelings and their ultimate effect on my life purpose and worldview, a luxury that most people don't have or never take the time to do. As you read my story, I hope that you will feel the genuineness and candor of my words. By sharing my thoughts and beliefs with you, I am offering you a part of myself. I am inviting you to get to know the real me. And as you do, I believe you will also learn a bit more about yourself as well. To older adults, Success training and personal development is like food for your heart, mind, and soul. Obviously, we have to keep eating to maintain our physical health, and just as importantly, we need to keep learning, growing, and evolving to maintain our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Think of this book as a magnificent think of this book as a magnificent meal for your brain, a rare treat that's delicious and healthy with both spicy and sweet overtones. Take a trip back to your youth when things seemed simpler and your confused state and penetrating curiosity seemed to dominate your thinking. Hold on, just 1 second. Hold on, just 1 second. Esri, 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 come here. Esri, Esri, stop bothering her. Stop bothering her. I have a show to do. Yes, that's Esri. That's my cat. Oh, and by the way, in case you've ever seen these are Chloe and Bea. Now, Chloe, you sometimes see in my background running around. That's right here, right here. Chloe is the one in black and white. Anyway, take a trip back to your youth when things seemed simpler and you're confused. Esri! Jeez. Okay. My desire is that take a trip back to your youth when things seemed simpler and your confused state and penetrating curiosity seemed to dominate your thinking. My desire is that you encourage your teenage kids and grandkids and great grandkids too to read this book, even though the language and situations are sometimes a bit harsh and gritty. Kids wonderfully break into adulthood by developing their own brand of language and by getting into interesting quote end quote situations and then working their way out of them. We all did it to some degree. My goal here is to keep things as real as I can remember while at the same time grabbing kids' interest from the outset by breaking through whatever barriers may exist and thereby allowing the achievement concepts to get through to them. Please let me know if you think I succeeded. One time I gave a call to somebody who had an effect on our family gathering in a positive way. He was stunned to hear it. He was stunned. He said, I had no idea. And I said, oh, well, I just wanted you to know. And he said, if you think of anything at all, just give me a call. So I really appreciate that he appreciated it. And I think that if this affects you and your kids or kids in your life in such a way, please let Henning Morales know. To young adults, I encourage you teenagers to take a break from vampires, zombies, and video games and experience a real story of real achievement in a page-turning adventure. The combination of the youth of the youth of the combination of the youth wait a minute. The combination of the youth of the book's main character, there you go, and the fact that it's set in the 1980s adds to the grit and in your face nature of the story. When you do, you will experience powerful and honest dialogue without the distraction of cell phones, texting, email, and social media. We didn't have those back then. In this story, in this story's time frame, a kid's voice was his and her only real communication tool. If you enjoy this story and pick up only one strategy, you can build on that to begin a you can build on that to begin developing a happier life for yourself. If or when this happens for you, I would be very pleased to hear from you. I challenge inspiration seekers of all ages to dig in, enjoy the ride, and pull out further success distinctions from some remarkable young hotshots and a 17-year-old master. For more information or to leave your comments, please go to dirtmerchantsbook.com. Henning Morales, Sunday morning, March 16th, 2014. Darius and Xavier supervising. That was exactly 11 years ago yesterday, Sunday morning. Oh my goodness. And it was a Sunday morning, March 16th yesterday, too. Cool. Anyway, this is Monday morning as we speak. This is so cool. Henning, good morning. And this is you know how calendar rules are that in 11 years your days of the week will align again with what you've got. I used to be able to well, I still can figure out what day of the week somebody was born on if they told me the year. Anyway, mom and dad. First, I would you have to acknowledge leap years too. But anyway, acknowledgements, mom and dad. First, I would like to acknowledge my two biggest role models, my mom for putting up with her wild child, and my dad for not being too hard on me. Their love and belief in me was and always will be my first and foremost inspiration. Dan Mausner, Mausner. As a first time novelist, this book was a daunting task, to say the least. I would like to recognize my editor, Dan Mausner, who has provided me invaluable insight and advice. My commitment to myself was that I would write every word. However, without Dan, I could not have gotten it right. There were so many errors in the first version, he actually edited it twice. During the process, Dan was as much a coach as an editor. Awesome job, Dan, and thank you. To my graphic artist, Adrian Ibrom, and my project consultant, Barbara Lynn, thanks for your valuable contributions and for being a joy to work with. Dennis Waitley, Denis. Waitley. I would like to recognize Dr. Dennis Waitley, author of The Seeds of Greatness, whose genius and insight changed history by creating a ripple effect that positively impacted thousands of lives. And last but by no means least, to Jim Brown, who, although just a kid himself when I met him, was nevertheless a powerful, wise, and compassionate mentor. You have no idea what your leadership has meant to me. I love you, brother. Table of contents. Note to reader. Acknowledgements. Ride the lightning. Joyride. Black dog. Bridge over troubled water. Cheap sunglasses. Lodi. Light my fire. Drive all night. Time and confusion. Chapter 10. Burnt toast. 11. Attitude adjustment. The surf and turf. Buckets of rain. Shenanigans. Christmas in Hollis. Wintertime love. Blackie's birthday. Postcards from paradise. Radio clash. Skank by numbers. Shattered. Lazy afternoon of the Jaguar. Running things. Friends with benefits. I remember Jeep. Savory truffle. Slim pickins. Jeepster. Paradise garage. $50 bill. Seeds of greatness. Ride the lightning side 2. Epilogue fade to black. Glossary of terms. Let's see this glossary first and give you the first and last words of it just so you have an idea of what it's for. Glossary of terms, if it's in here. Glossary of terms. Ah, here we are. Okay. Glossary of terms. All-nighter. Noun. A 24-hour sales marathon starting with chop-busting betting, goal-setting, and trash-talking, ending in pure exhaustion, a card game, and either the thrill of victory of a big pay or the agony of defeat due to poor production and actual loss of money after working 24 hours. Wise Guys Social Club, noun, a business establishment that resembles a coffee house with gangsters and mob guys often standing in front with open shirts and gold chains. Cadillacs and Lincolns are parked, usually illegally, in front. Mixed in with regular neighborhoods, they are found all over New York and commonly in Queens and the Bronx, even in residential areas. A merch mover rule is if the place even resembles this description, do not pitch. Don't even look these guys in the eyes. Keep moving. Yep. Okay. Jimmy Joe, dedicated to Jimmy, Joe, Eric, Adam, Anthony, Lauren, Nancy, Suzette, Susie, Judy, Sharon, Tara, Fritz, Cuddy, Kenny, Teddy, Jimbo. And of course to sweet Lori Bouton, who tragically didn't make it to her 32nd birthday. Bouton. Images of you guys will be forever tattooed on my heart. Chapter 1 Ride the Lightning. Friday, April 20th, 1990. We've got 7 minutes left here. American Airlines Flight 218 came to a stop at Terminal 3 of Newark International Airport. The ding sounded, indicating that it was okay to unbuckle and move about the cabin. A polished businessman in his 20s stood up and headed for the garment closet. His dark brown eyes were penetrating and focused. His fresh haircut was short and gelled back, with slight spikes meticulously positioned. He wore a flawlessly tailored and pressed gray pinstriped suit with a crocodile belt and brand new matching black wingtips. He pulled a leather garment bag out of the closet and threw it over his shoulder, grabbed his briefcase, and headed off the plane. He moved his slender and athletically built body swiftly through the airport toward the rental car area. After making pleasantries at the counter with the sunny, attractive Avis representative, the young man was handed the keys to a 1989 Grand Marquis and he walked out toward the parking lot. His face was stamped with a look of confidence and satisfaction combined with a slight smile. He found the black sedan, threw his things in the trunk, got in, and started her up. He reached into his top left pocket and pulled out a cassette of Metallica's Ride the Lightning, popped it in, and turning it up to an ear piercing level, headed for the Garden State Parkway. Chapter 2 Joyride, Monday, January 10th, 1982. The three boys, 15 years old, were traveling west on Route 4 in Englewood, New Jersey. Ronnie Gaff and Brandon Sanders were black. Spencer Corrales was brown, part Hispanic, part Italian, popular, good looking kids with all the potential in the world, with a zest for being kids, getting away with whatever possible, thrills, being admired, and of course being cool. Ronnie and Brandon wore their afros short. Spencer wore his brown waves long around his shoulders. Ronnie was in the driver's seat. Brandon was in the front passenger seat. And Spencer was in the back. They were heading back from New York City back home to the suburbs in southern New Jersey. It was Monday morning at 3. Ronnie had taken the keys of his sister's rent-a-car while she was sleeping at about midnight. The black kids had picked up the brown one at about 1. Corrales, man, that Devero messed you up good, man. How long was you in the hospital? Ronnie and Brandon both spoke with heavy street accents. They had grown up in the Bronx. Both families had recently moved to the suburbs. Yeah, man, replied Spencer. Fractured my back. Was in the hospital for 10 days. Doc says can't wrestle never. Baseball tryouts were too painful also. Sucks. Man, I don't know how you white boys get out there and do that crazy wrestling, man. That sport is crazy. Hey, Brandon? Ronnie was talking and driving, pretending he knew how. The black kids always called Spencer White, probably because of how he talked, where he lived, and his long mane. Sound effects. They happen naturally. Or maybe the kids just needed him to go in one category or the other. Or kids in Teaneck. For kids in Teaneck, it was black and white, no in between. My boy Corrales is ill, Gaffy. He never went to camp, never was in a league, and still whips these white boys. He mess you up too. They all laughed. Forget that, man. I play hoops, and that's it, boy. Safer, and I'm gonna get paid. Man, ain't no money in wrestling neither. Corrales, you should have stayed with basketball. When you was my point guard, we killed it. Ronnie was the best basketball player in his age bracket in the town by far. No one was even close. Spencer was good at multiple sports, but Ronnie was in another league. He and Spencer had played on the same team the previous year in Little League basketball. The kid was tall, fast, could jump out of the building, and he could shoot. He dominated the league. He was already being recruited by Villanova and Duke and definitely going pro if he stayed straight. Whatever, man. I'm going to your crib, Brandon. You guys take the car. Ronnie was going out with Branda's sister, Loretta. It never seemed awkward with Loretta having been Spencer's summer girlfriend the year before. Woo, that's interesting to me. This crazy white boy, because I'm a girl, man. I would not. She was. That's this crazy white boy from the other side of the tracks had the nerve to go out with a black girl and hang over at her house with her family, their friends, as if he belonged. Spencer and Brandon became fast friends that summer. This didn't happen in Teaneck. Blacks and whites were literally separated by train tracks. The cool black kids and cool white kids just didn't hang out together, period. Wow. I want to say something about segregation. You know, this is page 4. We're going to continue page 4 next week with The Dirt Merchants by Henning Morales. And I am really pleased to have met you, Henning. And we're going to probably meet again. I'm going to go to the Secret Knock um, in a few weeks. And gosh, it's going to be in 7 days. I'm going to be headed out on an airplane. I'm going to San Diego, and we'll probably see each other then. If you're there, I'm sure you're going to be there. And anyway, about segregation. Segregation exists in our minds, and it's an automatic, unconscious thing. It's not like we did it on purpose, but it's funny because when kids grew into go to lunch hour and they go, okay, I'll see you after lunch, man. All right, I'll see you there. They go there. It turns out you look in the whole room and it's blacks on one side and it's whites on another side, and Latinos in one corner and the Chinese kids all in one place. And I shouldn't say Chinese because it's no longer only Chinese. Now we've got Asians of all East Asians of all kinds, and then there's South Asians now too. So segregation, it exists in all our minds. That's my thinking. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And Cole Old Kinderhook was a congressman. He wanted to make sure everything was seen to its good last drop. Okay, Old Kinderhook. Thank you.